The harder thing to do and the right thing to do are usually the same thing. Nothing that has meaning is easy. Easy doesn't enter into grown-up life.
It's really hard to be led by your butt. But I'm not qualified. But I'm not good enough. But I'm not smart enough. But I didn't go to the right school. But I don't have enough money. But. If you're ever gonna step into your future, if you're ever gonna step into your destiny, you're gonna have to get over your butt.
And that's what a pity party is when you have an undisciplined mind and you meditate on the wrong thing over and over and over again. If you're going to throw a pity party, I'll give you 3 days and that's it. And after 3 days, you cut off your record player, your iPod, your MP3, and you come up with a plan.
I woke up one day and stopped making excuses. I woke up one day and stopped playing the blame game. I woke up one day and looked at the man in the mirror and was like, yo, bro, what are you doing? Wake up. It's showtime. Let's go. Get up. Go to class. Get up. Do your homework.
You wake up earlier than people. You stay later than people. You stay humble. You work harder than anyone when no one's there. I guarantee someone that feels bad about themselves soon will label you as he's built different. He's built different should be your label because people feel bad about themselves.
Your life is exactly what you wanted because every day you've had choices to make. You're responsible and credible for every single choice. You've made the choices.
And what I need you to do for me is why are you here and then take ownership of why you're here. So you control you.
This world ain't gonna give you what you deserve. This world gonna give you what you work for. I put that work in every single day. And when you wake up every single day and you put that work in, and yes, for some of us, it might be harder than others. Man, whatever, we do what it is we gotta do. Especially when we're desperate.
Winning's not loyal to you. It doesn't care about you. Winning doesn't care how sore you are. Winning doesn't care how much sleep you get. Winning doesn't care how hard you work at times. Winning requires all of you and then more, and it promises you nothing. It's a mastermind of creating fear and doubt in your mind. It causes setback after setback. So the question is about winning. Are you willing to sprint when the distance is unknown? And why chase this thing called winning? Because the only thing that's guaranteed in life, if you don't chase it, is losing.
Now is the time to grind. Now is the time to show the world that I was placed here for a purpose.
Hard work works. And you know what's great about our culture, y'all? The world's lazy. It's a good thing for you and me. Everybody will talk about it. Everybody will post about it. But nobody wants to roll up their sleeves and just go get it. And so what that means for me, I don't have to be the most qualified. I don't have to be the most talented. All I got to begin to do is to apply myself. And by default, I'm going to separate myself from the crowd.
If you set out and you say you're going to do something, do yourself a favor and don't lie to yourself.
Work for it. Fight for it. It begins today, it continues tomorrow, and it never dies.
What's stopping you? Are you too tired? Didn't get enough sleep? Don't have enough energy? Don't have enough time? Is that what's stopping you right now? Don't have enough money? Is that the thing? Or is the thing that's stopping you, you?
Excuses sound best to the person that's making them up. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. Get off the pity potty. Telling everybody your sad and sob stories, trying to get people to show up to your pity potties and your pity parades. If you ever see me in a Rolls Royce, a 6 or 7-star hotel, living my life to the fullest, don't get jealous of me, because I worked my ass off to get it. Nobody handed me nothing. Wake your ass up. Awaken the beast inside. It's game on. It's go season. It's time for you to take advantage of the access and the resources that you have in your country and your community. You got a problem with your life. You got a problem with your environment. Do something about it. If you want it, go get it.
Recognize the excuses are not valid. They're conjured up, they're fabricated, they're lies. And how do you stop the lies? You stop the lies with the truth. That the truth is, you have time. You have the skill, you have the knowledge and the support and the willpower and the discipline to get it done.
You aren't getting any closer to your 5-year plan or your 3-year plan or your 7-year plan or any plan that you've got unless you get up and start getting after it today.
And some of you are where you are. If you could be real with yourself, you have gotten yourself in some mess because of your feelings. We are losing control. And it's time for those of you in this room to take control. You've held up your someday. Either you didn't get the right information or you got it, you didn't use it, you're not getting up early enough. I don't know what you're doing. But when you leave, all I want for you is to live your someday. No more playing after today. And here's the crazy part. All you got to do is look in the mirror. All you got to do is deal with yourself, and then we're going to get to a whole other level. I need you to take control over every single area, and then someday gonna be your day. Stop running from it and run to it. Stop telling me what you're going through. The greats, they get to it, they go through it. And the harder it is, the better. Make it work. Let's go.
Now, if you know what you're worth, then go out and get what you're worth. But you gotta be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers saying you ain't where you wanna be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that.
I'm trying to tell you, you can win. You can win. Despite the circumstance, you can win. Despite the adversity, you can win. Despite the situation, you can win. Despite how much money you got in your bank, you can win. Despite the fact if your parents in your life or not, you can win. Despite the fact that you started behind, you can win. You can pull it off. No excuses. No more complaining. No more giving up. What's that thing that's gonna pump you up and get you over that hill? What's gonna pump you up and get you over that mountain? What's gonna pump you up and get you past that disease? What's gonna pump you up and get you past bankruptcy? What's gonna pump you up and get you to the other doggone side? Come on, you can win.
This is your chance. This is your shot. This is your moment. This is your time. This is your place. This is your opportunity.
This is my time. This is my moment. Tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. Ain't no such thing as tomorrow. We only got today. It's your dream. If you wanted to have it, get your butt up and make it happen. If you wanted to have it, rise and grind.
No more excuses. No more, I'll start tomorrow. No more, just this once. No more accepting the shortfalls of my own will. No more taking the easy road. No more waiting for the perfect moment. And no more indecision and no more lies. No more weakness. Now is the time for strength. And through strength and through will and through unwavering discipline, I will become who I want to be.
All your excuses are lies. Little lies that you think makes life easier, but they don't. Don't negotiate with weakness. Kill it.
See, in life, you can go through life, you can come up with reasons or you can come up with results. You can come up with excuses or you can come up with achievements. You can go through life blaming or you can come up with solutions. The choice is in your hands, satisfaction or despair. We can choose that.
You don't get better on the daggone couch. You get better by coming out here and getting the fuck after it every daggone day.
When that alarm clock goes off at 4 or 5 in the morning, your mind says no. You just say, this is what we do now.
My new norm is you get up every fucking morning at 4 o'clock and you suffer. That became my new fucking life. Most people want to get out of it. I said, no, motherfucker, this is your new life. This is who you are.
I don't care how small it is. I don't care how minuscule the movement is, but make movement, move forward, and do that every single day, no matter what.
You can't just say you want it. You can't watch the video and say, I want it as bad as I want to breathe. It's true to say it. But when it's showtime, when the sun comes up, you got all the books, you got all the tapes, you got all the access. Now it's time to hunt. And what separates you from everybody else is that when it's time to hunt, you ready to hunt.
You trying to get to the next level when you just interested. You kidding yourself. Forget about it. If you want to get to the next level, if you want to eat it, if you want to live it, if you want to be it, if you want to do it, stop talking about it and give me full commitment.
You can be the person who says, this is going to
fucking work, no matter what happens, no matter how frustrated I get, no matter how angry I get, no matter what, I'm fucking doing this. It's about executing regardless of your emotions. These test days, they test your fortitude, your endurance, your discipline, your grit, your dedication, your determination, your mental toughness at the very moment when everything in you wants to do absolutely nothing. You gotta get the job done. Stop having dialogue with your emotions. Stop negotiating with your feelings and start to act. That's where people separate themselves from the pack. That's where people earn the right to success. They earn the money. They earn the life. They earn the relationship. They earn the body in those little moments where they don't want to do what they need to do, but move forward regardless of how they feel. That's what champions know, champions understand, and champions fucking thrive on.
Move towards a worthy ideal. The good feelings in your body is an indication that there's something that you want. Now you get to work by doing it every single day. Commit once to the thing that you're going to do, and then you do it.
There is not a day that I get out of bed. There is not a fucking day that I wake up that I don't feel like going back to sleep, or that I don't have anxiety about what my day is going to bring. And I'm nervous and I'm scared and I'm like, all right, what do I got to handle today? And you know what I do? I wake up and I go handle it.
Ideas are dime a dozen. People say, oh, I got a great idea. Everybody's got a great idea. The real question is, can you execute? Can you get yourself to follow through? That's the only way that you're going to expand.
Making a freaking plan is the easy part. And you have to understand, if you don't execute on the plan, if you don't get up in the morning when you're feeling tired, scared, if you don't execute, you're not just cheating yourself, dude. You're cheating your family. You're cheating your employees. You're cheating your team. Whatever you're a part of, it's bigger than you, man.
Regardless of how you feel, you gotta execute on your mission. You don't give yourself the option to take it easy. You don't make excuses. You don't blame anything, any person, because this is your life. You're the one who's responsible.
Do you think Michael Jordan was interested in just being a basketball player? Do you think Kobe Bryant was just interested in winning championships? Do you think Tom Brady is just interested in being an NFL quarterback? Your mindset has to change right now. Interested is a fucking hobby. That's what interested is. That means you can't make a decision. If you want to win, you want what's next, you can't be interested. You have to be obsessed.
Winners don't cut corners. Winners don't avoid problems. Winners don't make excuses. Winners do whatever the fuck they've got to do to be a winner.
Don't wait till tomorrow, because tomorrow may never come. Start today. Start now. Start being who you're supposed to be and doing what you're supposed to do now.
Time is running out on you. There are only 86,400 seconds in a day. And you gotta not only operate in them, you gotta do it fast. You have to quit being so casual. You gotta work like your life depends on it, because it does.
Things just don't go your way. That's not the way the world works. You gotta make them go your way. You think things are gonna just go your way? Well, they're not gonna just go your way. You think things are gonna just happen for you? Well, they're not just gonna happen for you. You gotta make them happen.
Whatever you choose for a career path, remember the struggles along the way are only meant to shape you for your purpose.
I want to take a moment and teach you some basic tools to begin to change your life. When you invest in yourself, you invest in your future. Number one, take some time out of your busy lives to disconnect from your world. Shut your cell phone off, turn the TV off, power down your computer, sit your body down for a few minutes and close your eyes. Number one.
Like hip-hop music, I believe, is connected to youth culture. And this is why so many out with the old and with the new. So many new people come and a whole new litter of people and stuff. Because I think your core audience is having an adult experience for the first time.
If each day you do difficult things and make these daily optimizations each day through the doing of micro difficulties, you build greater self-respect. And as you build greater self-respect, you fall in love with yourself. It's a great way to build self-love. I mean, one of the tactics to remember is how do you grow self-love? You consistently make and then keep self-promises.
If you're on very, very shaky ground, that's when it's very important to be very humble and do nothing but tell the truth. And that's especially true if you're dealing with dangerous people, especially if they're paranoid. Because if they're suspicious of you and you lie, you are in such trouble.
I think it's the point where they don't want to be doing what the kids do, or partying where the kids partying and stuff like that. So it's a different tone to how they have that experience.
It's an urge. Truth be told, every champion has felt it. Every president has felt it. Every king has felt it. Every lion has felt it. Every winner has felt it. Every soldier has felt it. Every victorious person has felt it. The urge.
No countries is perfect. So for me, the adaptation was easy, and I really love it to be there, to be honest. As I told you before, for me, all the countries have their issues. It's normal.
You know, when flowers are thrown out, I believe that they should sometimes be returned. And in this case, man, I'm here for a reason. The work that you've done, the success that you've had is groundbreaking. So major congrats to you. I just want to say there's an equal level of appreciation and excitement for the moment, man. You've done some groundbreaking podcasts, your guests, to how you've gotten people to open up, the conversations that you've had. More importantly, the lives that you're saving by just being transparent, authentic, and true to who you are. I think it's dope as hell. So it's an honor to sit across from you. I'm excited about the conversation, and it's one that's been on my list as well. So I'm glad that we finally got it worked out to where we can make this happen.
You want to know what God did? He made sure that with me being ungrateful, he made sure he stripped me as a man to where I ain't have nothing to lean on but him. It was either him or the devil, and I don't fuck with that guy. I leaned on him, and ever since then, he's been changing my life.
You learn nothing from success. Nothing. You learn everything from the failures. And this is the thing that annoys me about the state that the world is in at the moment, is no one talks about failure anymore. It's like shame. Like, failure is shame. It's like, oh, let's just bury that and not talk about it. No one goes, oh, what do we learn from this? Whereas with success, everyone shouts about it. But there's nothing in success. Success happens from failing hundreds of times. It doesn't just happen overnight. You have to be rubbish, and you have to have people laugh at you, and you have to have people go, oh, come on, get a real job. No, this isn't really going to work. You have to, and you just have to have belief that eventually it is going to get better.
Life is pain. You know how many times I wanted to just give up? How many times I've thought about ending it?
Life's hard. Easy, it's not an option, but it's worth fighting. It's worth believing. It's worth giving yourself a chance. It's worth mustering yourself up, standing up inside yourself. It's worth fighting relentlessly, never giving up. It's worth fighting a good fight. It's worth being around motivated, positive.
And you run off and you tell everybody, we gonna stand and we gonna live and we gonna die by what we stand for, and everybody gonna know what we represent and what we're a part of. Because we said, at a certain point, we said we was gonna live and we gonna die by it. And the thing I love about sports and the thing I love about life, whatever you want, you gotta be willing to accept whatever come with it. Like, it's like a cat in the street. If you want to be a gangster, you can't be a gangster until you meet a gangster. Like, you can't be a warrior until you meet a warrior. You say, no, I don't want to be a warrior no more. Like, you got to be willing to accept whatever come with it. And he was talking about 11, 15 meetings, and I was talking to Rob in the car, and I said, man, the dangerous thing about having talent, like when you're in the league, everybody can run fast, jump high, hit cats. Everybody can cut it and slice it however you want to cut it and slice it.
Life is not always easy. In fact, some of you today, you're here and you're going through the toughest season of your life. There will be seasons where we will suffer. There will be seasons of real pain. And the question is, how will you respond in those moments?
What if all of us took that attitude after we face a rejection and a no, or we have a meeting and no one shows up, for somebody to say, you can count on me, and they don't come through? No.
All of us will be successful in life if we don't quit. I promise you other people are living. I was in, where was I? I was Brisbane on Monday, and I went into the store about 10 o'clock in the morning on Monday, and the store was packed.
They say they want to make it big. Well, you do the same thing day in, day out. You get the same results on repeat. That's not my 2 cents, just common sense. You want big change? Take big action. Take massive action. Make some big calls. It may require a move. It may require a new crew. Are you willing to sacrifice? Willing to push through? Why would you settle for less than you can be? For less than your potential? For less than your worth? Why wouldn't you take a risk? Who cares if you fail once? You are failing by default, by not trying. You're not even living. You're dying. You're dying a little more every day. Because deep down inside, you gave up on that dream. That knowing that you deserve it. Knowing you deserve every bit.
The harder the battle, the sweeter the victory. See, what you become in the process is more important than the dream. That's far more important. The kind of person you become, the character that you build, the courage that you develop, the faith that you're manifesting. Oh, it's something that you get up in the morning, you look yourself in the mirror, you're a different kind of person. You walk with a different kind of spirit. People know that you know what life is, that you have embraced life. You knew it was hard, but you did it hard.
I woke up one day and realized all men are created equal. I don't need none. I'm my advantage. You your advantage. Why are you waiting for somebody to call you? Why are you waiting for somebody to liberate you? Why are you waiting for somebody to affirm you? Why are you waiting for somebody to tell you got a dream or go? Why are you waiting for somebody to take you by your hand and give you what's rightfully yours?
In what you've done with your life thus far, is it giving you what you want? Is it giving you what you want? When you look toward the future, when you look at all that's going on out here, is there some place within yourself you say, hey, I know I need to be out there in that arena. I know I can do more than what I've been doing. I know there's some great music that I have within me that I haven't brought out here yet. Is that something that you begin to look at within yourself? See, I say if you look at your life, and if you're not getting what you want, you owe it to yourself to do something differently. If you're on a job, 85% they say of Americans go to jobs, but they're unhappy. If you're doing something 8 hours a day that you don't like, it's not giving you what you want, it's not giving you a strong feeling of satisfaction and fulfillment.
I gotta see my grandson graduate from high school. He's a junior now at Michigan State University. She said, I gotta see my granddaughter graduate, and my only 2 grandkids. I gotta see my granddaughter graduate from high school, and she graduates in June. She said, after that, I might die. But up until then, I ain't going nowhere. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? And what we said to each other is, I can get through this. I will get through this. I must get through this. So I just need you to think about 3 people in your family that you love. 3 people. 3 people that you love. 3 people. You got them? They there? You got them? This is what I need you to do for me. Because some of you have a hard time staying motivated for a straight 100 days. So what I need you to do for me is I need you to think about those people every day when you're doing what you're doing. You have some days where you just want to hit the snooze button, raise your hand for me. You want to hit the snooze button, right? So watch this. This is what has to happen. That person that you think about has to be louder than the snooze button. So when you think about Granny, you got to think about, do I hit the snooze button or do I get up and make it happen for Granny?
And I'm wondering if there are things echoing in your head right now that are stopping you from living your best life because you will not silence them by speaking back. You shall have whatever you say. So says the word of God. You shall have whatever you say. This is the end. You're gonna lose everything. You won't come out of this. You're not smart enough. You're not bright enough. You waited too late. You should have started younger. Those are the kind of voices that we all live with. For me, our ministry was growing. We lived in a nicest house we'd ever had. Driving a nice car. Living from paycheck to paycheck, but making it.
I grew up inner city Atlanta in this environment that I scraped, I clawed, had a lot of great people help me get out of, make it to college, play football, start doing very well. Things are looking up for me. My career ends, and I find myself back in the very community that I grew up in, 2 blocks away from where I grew up, with $250 in my pocket and my wife's grandmother's home. Because I had been working from the time I was 7 until the time I was 20, and every action, every decision, every choice was geared toward me trying to make it to this thing called the NFL, the National Football League, which I found out very soon and early that it didn't just stand for National Football League, it also stood for not for long.
What trained me was that voice. And I'm not going to go God on you right now, because I don't care if people believe in God or not. That's not my place. I'm not here to judge you. You have your own life and your own things to deal with. This voice in my head guided me to the spot where I'm at today. And if you don't believe that you're here for a reason, your life will seriously hurt. And I started looking at my life and all the shit I went through as God put me, some God, whatever you believe in, put me here to go through this. And now I see all the hundreds of thousands of lives I'm changing by the hell I went through. There's a lot of power in that. So my purpose as I started going through this journey, instead of looking at like, woe is me, God, man, why the fuck, man, why? I started looking at it as, it's the perfect training ground. You knew exactly what you were doing. You knew exactly what the fuck you were doing, obviously. You put me in every situation possible to tell a story.
And it may come from nothing. To me, there was no passion, no drive, no nothing. But I had this fire that I'm going to be something.
How do you get people to voluntarily give you authority over them? That's kind of a wild thing, right? Am I about to just drift off into some brainwashing techniques of how we can get people to magically, obey what you're saying? And there are those things, right? Sleep deprivation, taking people away from their friends and family, making them feel guilty about things that they've done, and then you come in as the savior to them. Like, that stuff happens. It's real. Brainwashing. You can brainwash people and get authority over them. Obviously, that's not what we're doing here. There was Dave and I were on a podcast, and it was like, I think it was just an unraveling talk, or not an unraveling, it was a debrief podcast. And I posed this question, kind of like, boom, I posed this question like, oh, if Dave called me right now, he really needs something from me.
Compare yourself to who you were yesterday, not to who someone else is today. You need to have a hierarchy of improvement. You need to be aiming for something, and that means you're going to be lesser than people who've already attained along that dimension. It can give rise to envy. So the question is, who should you defeat in the final analysis? And the answer is, you should defeat your former self. You should be constantly trying to do that. And you're the right control for yourself too, because you're the one who's had all your advantages and disadvantages. And so if you want to compete fairly with someone, then you should be competing with you. If you're improving yourself, then what you are doing is competing with your lesser self. And then you might also ask, well, what is that lesser self? And that lesser self would be resentful and bitter and aggressive and vengeance-seeking and all of those things that go along with having a negative moral character. And those are things that interfere with your ability to progress as you move forward through life. So it's very necessary to understand that. This is why, I've been stressing this out.
So you've got to ask yourself, what's your why? What motivates you? What pushes you? What drives you? And if that thing is internal, if nobody has to call you, if nobody has to prod you, if nobody has to reward you, if nobody has to give you anything, if you are self-motivated and self-regulated, you can have it, you can be it, you can do it.
A lot of times I'll be in a 200-mile run or something like that, and I'm all jacked up. Body's broken, mind's broken, spirit's broken. I start to say, what if I can pull this off? When I first walked into the Navy SEAL recruiter's office, he looked at me and said, there's only been 35 African Americans in 70 years make it through. You know what I said to myself? What if I can be the 36th? It's the what if I can pull off a fucking miracle. What if I can become someone that no one thinks I can be. And just me talking about that, I have the hair going up on my arms because it makes me just like, what if?
It's very hard. It's humiliating. Here's what I discovered that happens to you in life, that you will go through things, and while you're going through them, you can't understand why it's happening to you. But after you go through it, you get back and you look at it and you say, oh, now I understand why I needed that lesson. Have you ever happened to you? Raise your hand. Has it ever happened to you that I couldn't understand it then, but after I got through it, then I saw that was preparing me for bigger and better things. As you go through the challenges of life and you look at it and embrace whatever comes to you, don't run from it.
Everybody's got a list of shoulds. I should work out. I should spend more time with my kids. I should make more calls in my business. I should. You do your shoulds when it's easy. When it's not, you don't. You just should all over yourself about not doing it, right? So what we want to do instead is get it to be a must. So when you see someone who's extraordinary at anything, they're not lucky. They're doing something different than you. If you see what they're doing, you do the same thing. You plant the same seed, you reap the same reward. Whether you do it or not will have to do with some of your beliefs. If you have a belief that says, I should never earn more than my parents, it'll humiliate them, then every time you get close to doing really well, you'll sabotage it subconsciously. These stories get in our ways.
And so we all go through adversity, opposition. I think that's the thing that makes us all in common as people, right? No matter if you're from London, Atlanta, Florida, California, New York, like we're all going to go through something at some point or phase in our life, right? And as cliche as it sounds, when the quote says, it's never about what happens to you, it's about how you respond to it. That's very true. Right? But in the same sense, I think what's most important is when we go through something, what's the perspective that we have of it, right? Because for most people, when you go through something, the person's natural perspective is, okay, what did I lose, right? What happened to me? Like I took a loss, right? People never look at it and say, okay, man, tell me, what did you gain?
I want him to acknowledge that his anger is unfucking justified. I want him to acknowledge that he who fights by the sword, he fucking dies by it, Tom.
You've made no progress. None. You never moved. You might even be further from your goal than you were. Why? Why did you let that happen? You think to yourself, maybe I can't do it. And so you give up. You let it fade. And you settle. You settle for mediocrity. You settle for average. You settle for, oh well. But no. Don't do that.
Man, life's short. Go harder than you did last year. Whatever you thought you did, it wasn't enough. Go harder and find a way to enjoy it. That's when you mastered the game.
Every problem that we have can be looked at two ways. We can look at it as a difficulty to get rid of, or we can look at it as a message from our true selves.
You might be smarter, your family might come from privilege, your daddy might own a company, but you will not outwork me.
This top spot, this number one, that's mine. Because not one of you can outwill me. You may have been born with more genetic prowess than I have. But you cannot out-determine me. You can't outwill me. You can't outwant me. You can't outwork me. You can't out-desire me.
The bigger your dream is, the harder the grind. Some of you in this room, you might have small beginnings. You might not have a lot of money. You might not have a lot of resources, but there's no excuse. And I need you to understand that the bigger your dream is, the earlier you're gonna have to get up. The longer you're gonna have to stay up. The more effort you're gonna have to put in. You know how hard I worked to get here? I put in too many hours. I sweat too much blood, too much tears. I worked hard to get here. Didn't nobody give me this. I didn't grow up with wealth. Didn't nobody pay me. I worked for this. Sweat, blood, tears. I earn every dime I get. I worked for this. You will not outwork me because your height has nothing to do with my work ethic. Your face has nothing to do with my work ethic. Your two-parent background has nothing to do with my work ethic. You will not outwork me.
every day is a new day. Every moment is a new moment. So now you got to go out and show them that I'm a different creature now. Because I'm pissed off for greatness. Because if you ain't pissed off for greatness, that means you're okay with being mediocre. There ain't no man in here okay with being just basic.
And I dare you to exhaust yourself. I dare you to leave every single thing on the field, one season, everything, walk off exhausted.
Wins and losses come a dime a dozen. But effort, nobody can judge effort. Because effort is between you and you. Effort ain't got nothing to do with nobody else.
I want you to know when you dream your dream that there are other people who are dreaming the exact same dream. When you said to yourself, this is what I want to accomplish, you're not the only person that wants to accomplish it. And now I ask you this question, what do you do when 1,000 other people want exactly what you want? What do you do when you're not the only one that wants to make $1 million in your company? You're not the only one that wants to be the CEO. What if you're not the only one that wants what you want? What if there are thousands of other people who want what you want? You have to outwork them. You gotta outgrind them. You gotta get up earlier. You gotta stay up later. You gotta execute, and you gotta go from 70 to 120.
Many dreams die while suffering. When you're suffering, you give up on the very things that you wanted the most.
So many people out there fail, not because they don't have the ability. It's because they don't have the heart to go through adversity.
Now it's the mental game. And that's where people get lost in life, get lost in that next level. You must get your fucking self out of the fucking sewer. No one's coming in that fucking sewer to get you. It's dark, it's nasty, there's rats down there. It's your brain. You are the only person that can pull yourself out. You gotta study this shit, man. The only way we're gonna fucking get through this is if we study it. So every time I'm in a dark moment, I get in it, man, with a fucking pen and paper. I'm like, okay, this fucking sucks. I can feel like I'm losing my shit. But let's fucking study this. Let's come out of this motherfucker genius.
The easiest thing in the world to do is to complain. The easiest thing in the world to do is to be negative. It takes work to have a perspective that see things on the right side of the coin. You gotta fight for that. It takes work to show up every single day, and when things are not playing in our favor, to say, you know what, man, I'm gonna still show up, and I'm gonna give everything I got to it because I value what I'm a part of. It takes work to have the right perspective.
You're gonna need some energy. You're gonna need something that's so powerful. You're gonna need something when real life happens. You're gonna need some energy that can get you going and get you through this. You've gotta ask yourself, what's your why? What motivates you? What pushes you? What drives you? You gotta have a why. You gotta have a reason for why you do what you do. The problem with some of y'all, the reason why you don't give 120% because you ain't got a why for what you do.
What is it that will give you the drive? What is it that will ignite the courage in you to get up and come back again and again and again? How is it that you would be able, what reasons that can tap in to that deep down feeling that goes to your gut, that no matter how many times you get knocked down, that you're coming back?
Why are you here, Les? Because I want to make mama proud of me. I promise my kids I'm going to do for them. I'm going to give them a better life. I want to leave them a legacy.
I wish I could tell you it's gonna get easier. I wish I could tell you that if you just keep going, the weight is gonna get light. I wish I could tell you that, but that's not the truth. The truth is you gotta find something within. You gotta find something within, and that's gotta push you, and that's gotta drive you, and that's gotta move you. And when you find out what your why is, you don't hit snooze no more. When you find your why, you find a way to make it happen. And so life normally breaks you because when it hits you, you wasn't ready. But if you stay ready, you ain't gotta get ready. If you stay ready and you stay plugged up, when you hear bad news, it don't break you because you already energized.
Whatever you want, you gotta be willing to accept whatever come with it. You don't judge a person by where they stand in times of comfort and convenience. You judge them by where they stand in times of challenge and controversy. Like when you work for something, it gives you a different type of attachment to it. The harder you work, the harder it is to surrender. That's why cats can give up so easy. They ain't got nothing invested. They ain't worked for it. They ain't sacrificed for it. But when a cat work for something, like when a cat been sacrificed for something, where you gonna have a cold day in hell before you take it from him? because they value it different.
It's a dog fight. It hasn't been easy. It's a dog fight. You have a dream and then life pumps you and say, do you really want this? It's a part of it, but I paid too much. It's been rough. It's been hard, but I've made up in my mind that I will get a reward for the pain that I go through.
I'm not retreating. I'm not running. I don't care if you say we outnumbered. We live by this and we die by this. We don't retreat. Once we hit that wall, we don't quit. We don't give up. We push a switch called will, and we start using our willpower. Yes, we tired. Yes, the mind is saying give up. Yes, it's saying quit. But we cannot quit because we realize we have not reached the goal yet. You have come too far to quit now. You have invested too much to quit now. You have lost too much to quit now. Get a reward for your pain. Don't cry about it. Don't whine about it. Get a reward for it.
When you acknowledge it, hey, it's me. I'm the one. I've got to do this. I'm the one that's going to turn this around. So I got some roadblocks here. It's not easy for me. But ultimately, I know that these roadblocks, these obstacles, this opposition won't stop me. It will not determine my reality.
You start running from a class, you start running from a subject that you don't like, it will haunt you for the rest of your natural life. It ain't going nowhere. But at some point, you gotta go take the life out of it. At some point, you just gotta take that thing out. You gotta take the breath out. So some of y'all are afraid of math. Go after it. Go get it. Don't run from it no more. Go get it. You go in there and go get that grade. You go in there and get that information so you can pass that class. You gotta go get it.
Everyone likes that warm bed. Everyone needs just 5 more minutes of slumber in the morning. So they hit snooze. They roll over. They go back to sleep.
Every day you say no to your dreams, you might be pushing your dreams back a whole 6 months, a whole year. That one single day, that one day you didn't get up could have pushed your stuff back I don't know how long. Are those 15 minutes that sweet that you're gonna push back your dream, that you're gonna push back your goal?
You are where you are because of your feelings. You're not on principles right now. That's not what drives you. You would be a millionaire right now if you stopped going back to bed. Yeah, you got the mentor. Yeah, you got the book. So what? The books can't make you get your butt up. Well, what can is your principles, and your problem is either you ain't got none or you ain't living by the ones you have. And some of you, there are things you like, you have absolutely no control. You are like a slave to you. You are a slave to your personality. You are a slave to some of your vices. You are a slave to some of the things you like. You are a slave. You have absolutely no control. And what I'm telling you is the reason why we fast from time to time is not that we have to fast, but at some point you gotta fast because you gotta tell the flesh who's in control. I'm in control. You're not in control. I know you don't want to wake up. You don't have an option. Get up. We trying to eat.
So many of you know damn good and well deep down you have no excuse. You need to stop this whining, this crying all the damn time, and get up and do something about it. And the biggest thing I see getting in the way is your fucking feelings. You want to sit there and whine and cry about your goddamn feelings all the time. F your feelings. Get up and do something about it.
If you're ready to quit, don't get started. If you're looking for this easy path, don't get started. If you think they're not going to close the door on you and say no 1,000,000 times, don't get started. But every time they close the door, I just get excited. Why? Because I am not a no. I'm one yes away. You can't keep telling me no forever. You can't keep denying me forever. This type of energy, this type of passion, you can't stop it. You can contain it for a while, but you cannot stop. This is life, and you can't defeat me. You don't have enough power. You don't have enough energy. You don't have enough strength to stop this.
Your pain ain't permanent. It might last for a second. It might last for a minute. It might last for an hour. It might last for a week. It might last for a day. It might last for months. But sooner or later, if you do not surrender, if you do not give up, if you do not give in, it will subside. Listen to me. You can talk like a victim. You can act like a victim, or you could be a victor. And you can say, despite the odds, I will defy the odds. You're going to work through this. You're going to get up. You're going to get dressed. You're going to get out. And you're going to do what you've been called to do. You're going to be what you called to be. And you're going to prove to everybody that tried to break you, everybody that tried to kill your dream, you're going to prove all of them wrong. What will you do with your pain? Will you let it break you?
or will you let it redefine you?
You've got to continue to work on yourself personally. You've got to decide to be relentless. You've got to decide never to give up. You've got to find some reasons within yourself that will give you the stamina when life catches you on the blind side to get back up again, to keep on calling and coming back again and again and again.
You gonna quit or you gonna make it to your goal? You gonna quit or you gonna make it to your silver? You gonna quit or you gonna stand there and do what you gotta do to make your dreams become a reality?
Short-term thinking says the donut tastes good, eat it. Short-term thinking says one workout doesn't matter, I can skip it. Short-term thinking encourages you to make short-term emotional decisions that hurt you in the long run. The more short-term decisions you make, decisions that are based on that immediate gratification, decisions based on quick emotional satisfaction, the further from the path you will stray. That's why I say you've got to pay attention. You have to watch every single second, because those seconds turn into minutes, and minutes turn into hours, and hours turn into days, and days turn into years. You need tactical wins. You need to win battles in order to win the war. You need to get out of bed, you need to run, you need to work out, you need to read and study and practice, and you need to do things that you don't necessarily want to do. And I know that can be hard. That's why people lose the war. The daily fight is a challenge. You will not always want to do what you need to do. You will not always feel like doing something you need to do. You may not want to fight that battle, but you need to. You need to know your strategic goals, and you need to know why they are important, and then you need to get up, get out of your damn bed, get off your phone, get out of the soft and addictive comfort zone, and get into the combat zone where you have to fight, where you have to dig deep. You have to be vigilant. You have to be on guard. You have to hold the line on the seemingly insignificant little things that shouldn't matter, but things that do.
You gotta stop telling yourself that you're doing enough. You have to do more. In life, it's never enough until you feel this overwhelming feeling of, man, I'm outworking the crowd. I'm outworking everybody. I'm doing more. Once you get there, that's when you know you've done enough.
Think strategic all the time. Before any action or any inaction, ask yourself, is this action going to make me stronger or weaker? You have to tell yourself the truth. But the truth is, you have time, you have the skill, you have the knowledge and the willpower and the discipline to get it done.
Most people don't ever make it where they want to go because they give themselves mental outs. They can say, oh, this business doesn't make enough money, so they quit. You have to learn to train your brain with a zero options mentality. You have to learn to seek out, to be uncomfortable. You have to put yourself in positions where your back is against the wall. That's when you're gonna fucking fight.
Through the inspiration of desperation, you'll become more creative than ever before. Throw your whole self into it. See, most people go at it tentatively. They don't give all their stuff. They don't concentrate.
And if you don't have what you want, stop telling yourself the story because you don't have the money, you don't have the time. That's bullshit. It's because you haven't committed yourself where you would burn your boats. If you want to take the fucking island, burn your fucking boats, and you will take the island, because people, when they're going to either die or succeed, tend to succeed.
When you don't have any other option but to succeed, your chances of success are pretty fucking good. It is, I am going to fucking succeed no matter what I have to do, no matter how hard it is, no matter how difficult the road, no matter how many obstacles stand in my way, no matter how many people stand in my way, no matter what.
Discouragement can creep in secretly and tell you life is not worth living. If you listen at discouragement, you will wonder if you're ever going to get out of what you're into. There are moments that try the human soul so violently and so perplexing that if the truth were told, all of us have had moments that we wanted to throw up our hands and walk away. But don't make a permanent decision over a temporary circumstance. If you don't like where you're at, don't worry about it. It's just a step. You don't like how you feel right now? Stop crying. It's just a step. Don't deviate. All you have to do to win this battle is stay on track. You can't judge your life by where you are in this moment. Do you not know that where you are will pass? What you're worried about will pass? Don't you understand that one day you're going to look back and laugh at the thing that kept you up all night? Don't you understand that it's not nearly as major as you thought it was? You can live without your house. You can live without your car. You can live without your friend. You can live without your husband. You can live without your wife. I measure the value of a man by how hard he presses. How hard you press tells me how hard you hit. Energy is measured by motion. That's why the devil wants you to sit down, shut up, and feel sorry for yourself. But you ought to blow the devil's mind this morning. Just when he think he got you down, you ought to shock him and press. You better not start crying on the steps. You better not give up on the steps. You better not collapse on the steps. I don't care whether it's sunshine or rain, pleasure or pain. When you get up in the morning, put your pants on and pray.